Hi everyone, welcome to another of our daily devotions. We're back today in Psalm number 7. And in our last devotional, when we were looking at the Psalm, we saw how David had been slandered by a man called Cush. But David found great comfort in the relationship that he had with God. He is able to speak about God as his God, and he also speaks about God being the one in whom he finds refuge. David had comfort despite being slandered because he knew he was completely innocent of the false accusations that were being brought against him. That's evident from verses 3 to 5 of this psalm. Let me just read those verses to you. David says, O Lord my God, if I have done this, if there is wrong in my hands, if I have repaid my friend with evil or plundered my enemy without cause, let the enemy pursue my soul and overtake it, and let him trample my life into the ground and lay my glory in the dust. So David is fully convinced of his innocence. If I have done this, this there is probably the things that Cush was saying David had done, the accusations that were being brought against him. David is saying, Lord, if I have acted sinfully, if I have done wrong, if I have committed unrighteousness, if these slanderous accusations are true, then, Lord, yes, I deserve to be punished. It seems from verse 4 as though the specific accusation that Cush was bringing against David was that David had done something evil against someone who had not done David any wrong. But David knows this isn't true. He knows he's completely innocent of the lies that are being spread around about him. Now, we're not for 1 minute to think that David is claiming here in this psalm to be completely without sin in general. But what he is saying is, insofar as this particular matter is concerned, insofar as Cush's accusations against me are concerned, Lord, I know I'm completely innocent. The curse that he calls down upon himself in verse 5, if you look at it, if he were to be found guilty of the accusation, that curse points very clearly to his innocence. One writer says this, only the man who is sure of his innocence in the sight of God would venture to call for such a doom upon himself in case he had been guilty of the thing wherewith he is charged. So David knows he's innocent. And I think there are three practical pastoral things that we can draw from this psalm for our benefit this morning. First of all, we notice that the righteous always have been and they always will be persecuted. And one of the ways in which God's people are persecuted is that their enemies bring slanderous accusations against them. They say things that are false. They tell lies about them. People will try to assassinate your character. Don't be surprised if it happens, or maybe I should say, when it happens. However, when you are accused of something that you know is untrue, then being completely innocent in your own heart brings you great comfort because you know that God knows that you are innocent. God knows all things. And if you know before God that you're innocent, and know that God knows that you're innocent, then that is a great comfort. And you know that truth will prevail in the end. But there's a third thing that we can take from this. David was appealing to God, and the reason he appealed to God was because he knew that God knew all things. Now, that being the case, then if there is truth in the accusations that are brought against you, if you are in fact guilty of something that someone is charging you of, it is far better to admit it, to confess it, and to seek forgiveness for it, rather than to proclaim yourself innocent, knowing that God knows you're not innocent. In this case, of course, David was innocent, and it was a great comfort to him to know that he could stand before God and that he could confess his innocence. May God help us as we think about these things for our own personal lives. Hope you have a great day. God bless.